Well, tomorrow morning, the Texas legislature will hold another hearing into the police response to the mass shooting at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, more than 3 weeks after the murder of 19 students and 2 teachers. We know more than an hour went by from the time the first shots were fired to the time officers went inside and killed the shooter. What we don't know is why those moves took so long. And now, as pressure mounts for more information to be made public, a law firm representing the city of Uvalde is fighting the release of key records, including body cam video that could shed light on what happened that day. Joining us now is retired Fort Worth, Texas Police Chief Jeff Halstead. Thank you for being here tonight. You know, it's so difficult to hear about these types of situations. What needs to change? And why do you believe some of this is being kept under wraps?
You know, when I was chief of police in Fort Worth, there were many high-profile incidents, use of force incidents, tragic police shootings. We had to get that body cam footage out as soon as possible because it brings answers to the community. They can see the true evidence of what the officers were facing. But in this instance, and I've read a great deal of the information here, I was one of the first major city chiefs to adopt body cameras in the United States in 2010, and they should have the capacity to edit all of this video so it doesn't jeopardize any of the officer safety measures and the deployments and the way that they were entering into the school. That can be edited and altered so that you can still accomplish the release, answer questions to the public, and, you know, these poor families that are just looking for answers still don't have them.
You know, and I know we're working with limited information, but, you know, in your experience, what do you believe went wrong here with the response, if you believe anything did?
This is absolutely atypical of rural America. And what I mean is there is a significant lack of immediate collaboration. I'm very passionate about this. I provide training all over the U.S. How you operate day to day is exactly how you're going to operate in a time of crisis. So if there is limited or no collaboration regionally among all of these law enforcement agencies, when there's a time of crisis, there will be no radio communications, no collaboration, and it is very dysfunctional and stressful. That is going to be, you will see the after action report, whether it's going to be months or years, that there is a significant lack of communication and day to day operational collaboration. That has to change in American policing.
Well, our senior national correspondent was really pressing law enforcement in that area about this. We have the tape tonight.
Based on the information you have so far, sir, should the officers have gone in sooner? Should they have waited for those tactical teams, or should they have gone right in?
That's a tough question. That's a tough question. Again, it goes back. Our job is to report the facts. Report the facts, and later we can answer those questions.
Based on what you know so far, should those officers have...
I don't have enough information to answer that question just yet.
So, Jeff, do answers like that erode public trust?
Oh, yeah, I've been a PIO. I was a PIO in Phoenix PD twice at 2 different ranks, and then I was a chief of police in the 13th largest city in America. Why are you going to do a press conference if you do not have complete facts? Because then it frustrates every member of the professional media that we work with. And you got to remember, the ones that appear there are very pro law enforcement because they work day to day with these agencies. But to not have the capacity to answer tough questions, then you may want to wait another day to do this huge news conference because the public is demanding answers. And so is the profession. I've talked to chiefs all over, not just Texas, but the Western United States. They want to know what really happened so that they can change policies, adjust training, and put more budgetary funds into the items and weapons and tactics that are needed so that this will not be repeated again in America.
Well, and obviously so many emotional, absolutely gut-wrenching stories coming out of Uvalde. We actually spoke with the father impacted there. Here's what he had to say.
As soon as they heard the gunshot, they should have rushed in. You know, that didn't happen. You know, more policemen came in increments. They were there unprepared. You know, they should have had shields in the cars. They should have had, you know, flag. You know.
Do you think they were unprepared, or were they cowardly? Were they disorganized?
I say all three. honestly, in my opinion.
Jeff, we have about 30 seconds, but when you hear stories like that, you hear people talking to the press like that, how do we restore public trust in law enforcement? What's the best way forward? Well,
immediate transparency in all aspects of policing, policy deployments, the way that you do your job, crime stats, things like that. That guarantees public trust in our profession. The other one is the lion's share of governmental funding, federal funding to support these rural areas go to the major city chiefs network of agencies. So sadly, places like Uvalde do not get this lion's share of funding. They cannot afford the advanced tactical equipment training and the exercises needed. That's got to shift, and we got to put more pressure to get funding to these rural agencies because they need it, and those heroes need the training.
All right, we hear you, and it's a difficult job. We thank you for your service. Retired Fort Worth, Texas Police Chief Jeff Halstead, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Kelly. Appreciate it.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.